my channel, Live Free with JD. Today I want to talk to you about ways to get into your next deal. A lot of people are asking me how to either do, how they can get started with real estate investing or how to put something together to get into their next deal. Whether you're a beginner or an expert, I'm going to go through different situations on how to close a deal and different ways to finance them. So stay tuned and let's figure it out. Alright, so the first one we're going to talk about, the way to get into your deal, is traditional financing. It's the most boring one we'll talk about today, but it's important nonetheless because there's situations where you want to do it and situations where you want to opt into something else. Now, traditional financing can be done with as little as 3 to 5% down. How awesome is that, right? With 3 to 5% down, it should be fairly easy to come up with the cash to get into the deal. Now, the problem that most people will run into is either their income or their credit won't be enough to get the loan. It's not as easy as just having the cash. The bank has to trust you to go get the deal. If they don't trust you, you're done. So what you need to do is then you're gonna mix up and try to find a partner. If you can find a partner who can help you out, maybe a co-signer, whether it's a family member, a friend, someone else who's just as passionate about you as you are with real estate, then you can go in with a partner. Now, oftentimes with a partner, I suggest that you pick someone that you don't want to lose a friendship with, and you pick someone who has a different skill set than you. That way, you're always working on different things, and you're not butting heads, and you kind of create synergy in needing each other. Alright, now here's the big one and the really fun one for today. It's called seller financing. For those of you new to seller financing, that means you're asking the person you're buying the house from to be the bank. It's a big ask, it's a tough ask, and there's situations where it works. The best time that this works is when the seller doesn't need a whole lot of money. A lot of times you have to dig in and just see, hey, are you using the cash from your house that you're selling to go buy something else? Are you in a position where you're financially well off enough that you can just act as the bank for me? That's tough to find, but when you can find it, it's such a sweet deal because you can find yourself in a position to get into something without as much cash, or buy yourself some time to get into something when you know you're going to be better off later, but you're not so great off now. An example, myself, I have a couple houses I bought a couple years ago. I'm not ready to sell them yet, but I might sell one soon to exchange for a different house, but I'm not ready yet. So what I'll do is I'll try to get someone to seller finance for me, and I'll basically make an agreement with them that, hey, after a couple years, I'm going to sell one of my other places and roll that into a deal here so I can get traditional financing for this. But in the meantime, I need you to act as the bank. I need you to help me out and just buy me some time. Now, you have to think about the seller when you make these terms. It's not about you. What you need to do is try to put yourself in their shoes and figure out, if I were them, would I take this deal? You have to offer them enough cash up front. You still have to offer them cash, sorry. It's not a get out of jail free card. You offer them enough cash up front to show that you're interested and you're honest about your offer. I usually suggest somewhere in the range of $20,000 to $50,000 depending on how expensive the house is. And if you can put that up front, that shows them you're serious. You need to give them an interest rate that's reasonable, something that'll make it sweeter than what they could currently collect for rent if you factor out what your mortgage payment is, and probably a little sweeter than even what they would pay down. Now, that gets a little too hairy, but the general rule of thumb is your interest rate should be maybe 2 to 3% higher than a traditional financing option. They're acting as the bank for you, so you need to sweeten the deal for them. Now, the last thing I'd say is just be sure to convey who you are. They're not going to want to be your bank if they don't know who you are. So you need to show them who the real you are. You need to tell them a little bit about your background, a little bit about your finances, maybe sneak in some credit in there. It's all about building a relationship if you're going to get that done. And the seller finance can be really sweet, but you need to get those terms right and go through those right steps. And the initial presentation is everything. So make sure you put it in a formal letter. Make sure you have a letter of intent signed up with everything that needs to be discussed in there. So for them, it's really just seeing, oh, yeah, okay, you know what? JD's not that bad of a person. He's not trying to lowball me. He actually thought this out. He's really interested. I think I can give this guy a shot. The next fun option that I have for you guys is called syndication. And that's just a fancy word of saying someone else found the deal for you. They're looking for people to pool money together to get the deal together because it's such a big deal, and that means there's enough room on the pie for a lot of different people. So that's an option where you don't necessarily need credit, you don't necessarily need a loan or income. You're just going to contribute money almost like you would in a stock, and you're going to collect returns on it. Now the thing is, with some of these syndications, you have to watch out because you might have to leave your money in there for a little while. The returns might come over time. There's a million different ways they can play, and that's the gift and the curse. And the beauty of syndication is you can find one that meets your needs, your timeline, and everything that you're looking for. And the sweetest part, you don't have to do a thing. You don't have to do a thing but find the deal. They found the deal, but you have to find the deal that they're offering you. So there's a bunch of syndications, there's a bunch of different people who are in the game and be happy to help you, who are trying to leverage their knowledge. It's something that I'm starting to put together to try to help people out who can't get the traditional financing they need. But it's as simple as finding up a syndication deal you like, you put in a little bit of cash, and then you're good to go from there. So I have one more deal for you guys today, and it has nothing to do with real estate. It's that if you made it this far in the video, you need to make a deal with me where you like and subscribe to the channel so I can give you more tips down the line. Now there's a lot of different ways you can get into real estate. Today we covered seller financing, which is one of my favorites. We covered syndication deals, which are really cool and next level. We covered traditional financing and partnering up. There's a lot of different ways you can get started, but I urge you to get started. If you need any help, feel free to reach out to me. Leave your questions in the comments and I'll get to them. And remember to live free.